Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Hey, great to see you.
I'm good to see you too. So good. I've been so looking forward to this because, as you know, this week we're going to Italy. One of my favorite destinations on cruise ships. But before we go, let me introduce you. You are Elizabeth Stern, and you were a shopping, well, you are still a shopping expert on more high-end ships than any. But do you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are?
Sure, I started on ships, gosh, it's been about 28 years ago. I started with Princess Cruises, the old love boat, and on the inaugural of the Regal Princess, the original Regal Princess. And I worked for Princess for many years. I sold jewelry on there, and then I was a shopping expert. And then I've been on a number of other cruise lines, but more recently, Crystal, and then Oceana and Regent and Viking. Those were the ships that I have been on most recently. Just got off the Regent, one of the Regent ships in March, as a matter of fact, before all this craziness happened. And so cruised around the world, been to just about every single port that cruise ships can go to. I've been to every Caribbean cruise ship port. I've been all over the Mediterranean, Australia, New Zealand, another one I hope we can visit soon as well.
Yeah,
And 115 Panama Canal cruises for those of you keeping track. So
no
again,
way.
and I live in Cozumel, Mexico. So
I was
that's
just
why
going to say, you need to tell everybody where you are because that looks absolutely beautiful.
it is. It's gorgeous. I'm sitting in the garden area right behind my friend's house and where I'm living right now, and it's just beautiful here. Every day's gorgeous, although we did have a little tropical storm that kind of cruised through here the other day, but everybody's good. All is fine, and the sun is shining today.
Amazing. So I want to go back to the 115 Panama Canal cruises. Are you kidding me?
Nope. 115 times through the Panama Canal. Can you believe it?
Oh
And
my
it's always
God.
exciting. It's
I
always
know.
we should do a talk just about
You
Panama
should.
Canal today, and
You should.
invite our friend Chris Roberts along to that, because
Oh
I
my
think he's the
God.
only person I know who's been through the canal more times than I have been.
No
But
way.
yeah, lots of fun and always exciting and interesting, and yeah.
Well, Chris contributes on the website. And if anyone's watching us, go over to the website. You'll get lots of information. He just actually wrote about Panama, so we can add that. But anyway, we're not going to Panama this week. That's another time. We are going to Italy this week. And so this video is really for all our cruise fans, people who cruise, love cruising, and they're missing it. Not only are they missing the cruise ships, but it's the destinations. You can go on YouTube at the moment and you can watch all the news, which quite frankly, I can't listen to any. I just can't listen to it anymore, and I can't
Me
think
either.
about it. So what we're doing here is we're bringing you a piece of the destination because let's face it, that's the number one reason why people travel. It's because of the destination. And over the years, you, Elizabeth, more than anybody, your port and shopping talks were so inspirational. But tell us tell us first of all, what's your favorite Italian port?
Oh gosh, that's hard to say. Let me just say I love all of Italy. I often get asked, people will say, what's your favorite port in the world? And I would always say, well, I can't give you one of my favorite ports, but I can give you my top three. And it
Right.
changes over time. And when I would say top three, one of them, and in no particular order, one of them would always be Italy and the Amalfi Coast and
Oh,
that whole surrounding area. Always. That is
yeah.
always an area that is in my top three. You ask any cruise ship guest who has asked me that question before, and that is an answer. I love the Mediterranean. I love Australia, New Zealand, and I love Cozumel. That's why I live there. But
Yeah.
Italy in particular is one of the places I will always say is in my top three. And Sorrento definitely is one of my favorites because it's not huge. It's not a big port. Like, I love Venice, and there's so much to do and see in Venice. But Sorrento is small enough that when a ship goes in there, it's easy to get around. It's easy to walk around. It's safe. There's no area that you're going to feel uncomfortable in. When I'm traveling around, when I work on this ship, I'm by myself. And so I'm always walking around by myself. There's some places in some of the ports, a little bit sketchy. but not in Sorrento at all. There's no place in Sorrento that I would say is unsafe. It's easy to walk around, it's accessible, it's fun, and it's so beautiful. I just love that port.
I agree. I think it's because, I mean, I don't want to put people off going to Rome or Florence, but you have got to keep your hand on your bag, and you have got to keep your wits about you. No one really will get hurt, but there's a lot of pickpocketers, and you can kind of feel a sort of atmosphere where you have to be on your guard. But when you go to Sorrento, it's different, and it is like an island because it kind of drops down and it is separated from the mainland, and it feels like an Italian island, right?
Yes, sure, for sure. I remember the last time I was there, I was on an Oceania ship, and we tender in, so we drop anchor out and we tender in, and you just see up on the mountain, all the cliffside, like all those beautiful buildings and all of that. And it was spectacular. Just even if you're not a history buff or anything like that, the architecture is just beautiful there. I loved it. And then walking along the streets, you can always get lost amongst the little side streets of wandering around, where there's so many interesting little craft markets and fruit and vegetable stands. Oh, and the food. Oh my goodness.
The food. Oh, come on. Let's talk about the food, because let's face it, that's the number one reason why we go to Italy. Tell me what.
Yeah. I was going to say that's the only reason, but it isn't the only reason.
Yeah.
There's so many things, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, living in Mexico, we have beautiful tomatoes. There is nothing like the tomatoes that you get in Italy. I don't know what it is. It's
oh yeah,
the soil
so
and the sun and all of that. The fruits and vegetables are amazing.
Yeah.
So gosh, I went to so many wonderful. We could do a whole talk on just restaurants around Italy.
Yeah. Well, name your top couple in Sorrento. What are
in Sorrento? Really okay. Yeah. There's a place in Sorrento called, and I hope I get it right, Il Leon Rosso, and it is Illeone Rosso, Rosso. And this is the best place in all of Sorrento that I've ever found. Now, there may be better ones, but the best one I've ever found for pizza. And I was with a group of people from our ship, and somebody had heard about this place, and we went there, and then we went there like numerous times. The best pizza, I don't know what they do, just they're simple. You don't need like a bunch of stuff on it, just simple basic ingredients. And then the best limoncello, and Sorrento is known for their limoncello. Did you know that? Yeah.
Really? Did it come from there?
And I don't know if that's where it originates, but everywhere you go in Sorrento, you will find limoncello. And it's not like limoncello I can get anywhere else. It's amazing. And even if you're not into drinking liqueurs like that, it's incredible. Everybody loves it. And it's always after your meal, they would come around with glasses of limoncello, and they make it right there on the spot, and it's incredible.
Really? Yeah. They make it right there.
This one place, I'm sure if you looked it up online, Il Leon, and everybody calls it the Lion, but it's Leon, Leone.
Okay.
Il Leon Rosso. To me, that's one of the best places to go. And then there's another place, and we'll talk about the location of this later, but called Restaurant Sorrento.
Oh, well, that's easy to remember.
That's my Indiana accent telling you in Italian. Restaurant Sorrento. And that's the place I was sitting one day when I discovered a beautiful Cameo workshop. So anyway, it's on one of those little side streets and all of that.
Yeah.
But Sorrento, like I said, when you get off the ship, you tender in, you can walk up this steep cliff, which I don't recommend. I walked down it. But we always had a little shuttle that would take us up the cliffside. And then that puts you right on the main street where all the action is. There's a lot of, the main street has all these cafes and hotels and restaurants and shops. And it's, I got some nice shoes there too, by the way. But it's just classic Italian style. I love it there.
I love it. No, I agree. And, it's interesting because I found when I went there, a lot of people were on tours, which is great. You know, a lot of people, they go there for the first time, they need to pack it all in. But I used to say to people, just do a half-day tour, because, you know, you're going to miss Sorrento if you go over to Capri, and that's an all-day thing, and you're on a ferry for half of it. So
Yeah.
I used to actually try and put people off from going there, because it's nice and everything, but it was always overcrowded on Capri. So I would say to people, you have to take in Sorrento.
Yeah. And what's really cool about it, it's easy to maneuver around on your own. You don't have to take an organized tour. Get a map, a little street map, and plan out where you want to go, and stop at a local restaurant or cafe, have a coffee, have a glass of wine, have a limoncello later. But look around it. But also, there's just so many things that you will miss if you don't walk. You need to walk around those side streets and maneuver that. And there were a lot of, while I was sitting there one day, there were all these walking tours, and they weren't from the cruise ship, but they were walking tours that you could book while you were there. And that was what it was amazing, because they could take you on those small groups. They'd have about 15, 20 people maximum, and they'd take them on all those little side streets. And that's what's the most fun in anywhere in Italy, but especially in Sorrento, because those little side streets, you can't get, they're pedestrian walkways, not where a bus could go.
No, exactly. Good walking shoes. So you were at this restaurant Sorrento one day, and tell us what happened.
Well, I was sitting there, and the aromas of these restaurants were getting to me, and finally I'm like, okay, I'm stopping for lunch. And so I sat down and I thought, I have the whole day. We were there till midnight on that ship. And so I stopped for a nice long leisurely lunch. And as I was sitting there, just kind of taking in the sights and people watching, loads of people coming down this little avenue. And I noticed every walking tour was stopping at this little shop. And I was like, well, that's interesting. What is it? And I could see the name above the store was called Bimonte, Sorrento, and whatever, but I didn't know what it was at the time. So I sat there a while, and after I finished my meal, I'm like, I was so intrigued. I'm like, I have to go in and check it out. So I went over, and in the window, there's a man sitting there carving a cameo. Now, I mean, we've all seen cameos before, but I don't think up until that point, I'd only seen one carved once before when I was on a ship. When I worked on Princess, we, being an Italian, most of the ships had Italian employees, and we actually would have cameos on there. And so I knew how they were carved, but I had never really seen anyone really carving one in Italy, right? So I walked up, and here is this man carving this cameo in the window. And I walked in, and I met this man, Christian, lovely man. I think they're maybe third generation family-owned business. And I walked in and started talking to him, and he was so interesting, the fascinating craftsmanship that goes into carving a cameo. And come to find out, they're the oldest cameo workshop in all of Sorrento. That was it. And that's why it's written up in like every tourist guidebook, everything about this cameo carving place. And so I learned a little bit more about how they make them, and that they're all handcrafted, completely amazing. It's an intriguing place to go, and just to see. But it's just a small little place, kind of tucked away on this side street. But when you're there, you feel the history, and you feel the artwork, and you feel the family, the intrigue of all of it. It's amazing. And when I travel someplace, I like to get something that is from there, that has meaning, that has the influence of the area that I'm in. And boy, this place is incredible. I don't know, it's hard to explain.
And I agree. I think that, and I used to always say this on ships, you have to take a piece of these countries home, these destinations. And I don't mean a t-shirt, No, I don't mean a fridge magnet. Oh, heck, that's been made in China, for goodness sakes. Don't buy
Yeah,
that. And don't buy it off the street. You need to research, what is this place
authentic.
famous for? And Italy is so rich, because we need to do this again. We need to go to Italy another week, because there's so much to Italy. And so tell me, why is it so important to take a piece of Cameo back home that you bought from Sorrento on your cruise?
Well, for one, it's something that truly is from there, and
Mm.
it is something that is unique. You won't find true
No,
cameos in very many other places. There are some other places that make cameos, but they're nowhere near the quality, for
no.
one, and the selection is incredible. But they custom create things. I mean, I
Really?
even wrote about this in my blog, which is funny. I
Mm.
said, well, I was actually there the first time I was there. The cameo this artist was carving was of someone's beloved Labrador retriever.
No way.
They do all
Wait,
these
wait, wait,
different
wait, wait.
dogs
So,
and everything.
oh my God. So wait. So people can send in a photograph of their
Of
beloved.
what they want, right? So
No
let's
way.
say it's your dog, or let's say it's a photograph of a family member,
Oh my
or maybe it's just something that has special
God.
meaning to you,
Yeah.
and and they sketch it out right there on the shell, and then they carve it, and it's all carved in relief. And I don't know, sometimes people don't know what that terminology means, but
Mm.
they carve. Actually, this
What
is
is it?
really
What are you
funny.
saying? Relief? Are you saying
Carved in relief, yes. And what
relief?
they
Okay.
do, I actually have a shell. Now this is not from Sorrento, but
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
cameo. It's a real cameo that's carved
Yeah.
into a shell. So they take shell like carnelian or some type of shell, and
Mm.
then they carve away all of the part down
Oh
to
yeah.
the shell to get the color there. And
Okay.
then, so
Oh, I can
everything's,
see it.
it's a three-dimensional
Can
effect.
you bring it right up? Oh, that's it. Now I can see it. Oh, wow, that's gorgeous.
So this is,
And
this
that's
this is
kind of,
nothing compared to what you're going to see
no,
in Sorrento.
that's
It's
beautiful
beautiful,
though.
but
But is that
it's
like mythological creatures as
a
well?
lot of, they do a lot of mythological things. They do a
Oh,
lot
okay.
of old Roman uh, kings and czars and
Oh, wow.
not czars from that's not the word used, but all kinds of different people. I mean, you think back, many of the Pope Paul II and then Queen Victoria were big fans
Mm.
of cameos,
Oh,
and so
yeah.
they had all kinds of different carvings, and then, like I said,
Mm.
lots of mythological characters and lots of scenery, beautiful flowers, all kinds of things. People will
Mm.
send in like their family crest and
Mm.
whatever. You
Yeah.
can go when over the years when I was in Sorrento, um, there would be people who would go in and they said, well, we have a design that we're interested in. Can you come up with some different sketches? And they did. And like I said, it's the oldest cameo workshop in all of Sorrento. And they have skilled artisans in there who just do incredible work. It's
Amazing.
amazing. But it's all hand carved. And you
Right.
think of it, sometimes they're just, like
Yeah.
like that. They're just small little
Yeah.
pieces that you would have as a pendant or a brooch, or even earrings,
Well,
cufflinks. They do all
cufflinks they
kinds of cool
do.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Amazing. Oh, I
incredible.
love it. So
Yeah.
what we'll do, what we can help people, can't we, with Bimonte? Because obviously no one's traveling, no one can go there yet. But what can we do in the meantime?
Well, I know actually Bimonte has a website, so you can go to their website and you can special order things. They have a number of different types of carvings and different types of cameos. So you
Right.
can select something that they have, or you can talk with them, call them directly, and get something custom created
Customize.
by
Oh,
sending in a photograph or just working with them personally to get some ideas on the different designs that you want.
that's
So
great.
just by looking at their website, I think they'll probably give them a good deal. Didn't I hear that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think if there's a code, isn't there? If they put the code in, they get 15% off, which is nice.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
15%.
So
Yeah,
15.
that's really great. Yeah, so even though we're not traveling, you can still buy beautiful cameos directly from the source in Sorrento, Italy. And I love what you said earlier about how, I think this is why they're still quite popular, is that they are one of a kind. Like, it's, the shell is unique. I mean, what is the, it is shells, right? That they
Well,
use.
there are different things that they can carve on. Most cameos are carved from shells, or sardonyx, or carnelian. But also they can carve on agate. They can carve on different gems, all kinds of different things. So there are a lot of different things. I know at Bimonte, I remember they had a list of what they had, and what is easiest for them to carve on, and what is will give a real pretty background. Some of them, most of them have kind of a brownish color in the background, a reddish color in the background, but some have more of a lavender color if they carve on different stones, or there are different mediums that they can use to carve on. So that would be something that Bimonte would be able to tell them, you know, what background color you want. But most of them are your traditional. But, you know, and speaking of that, I think with every type of gemstone or jewelry, there are trends that always come back. And even recently, Dolce & Gabbana feature cameos. And not too long ago, there were some people on the red carpet in the Oscars and Emmy Awards who were wearing cameos. So they're out there, and you'll see them. A lot of, you know, you'll see some interesting styles, but now everything comes back again in jewelry styles and things like that. So don't think it's just I always say it's not your grandmother's jewelry. You know, it's nice to have an heirloom piece, but there's some really cool, interesting pieces that you'll see nowadays in Cameo Carvers. And again, it's a work of art. They're a work of art. And if you want something that's a classic, that's something true Italian style, this is where it all began, you know, in Italy. So lots of beautiful pieces there.
Yeah, and people should be careful because there's a lot of fakes out there. There's a lot that's just
a lot of replicas.
From a mold. A lot of replicas. Shouldn't have said fakes, but I like to straight to the point. So yeah, this is one that's a traditional family that makes gorgeous carvings. But what else? So we'll put a link in the description for Bimonte, and obviously the code that you put in, Bimonte 2020, which will get everybody 15% off. That's great.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So what else should people be looking for when they, what else would you only know if you went to Sorrento?
Okay, there is one other thing that you can only find that is in Sorrento, that's truly from Sorrento, and that is the wooden inlay pieces. And when I say wooden inlay, what is it exactly? Oh gosh, they have everything from, there's a place in Sorrento called Januzzi, and they have, I think their name is longer than that, but I always call them Januzzi. Actually, that was one of the places where our shuttle bus, when we came up from our tender, dropped us right in front of this place. And it's a family-owned business. I think they started back in like 1852. Believe it or not. So they've been around for a long, long time. And this place, Januzzi, again, family owned. I think everybody who works in there is part of the family, and just a delightful group of people. And they have the most, I think if you were born and raised in Sorrento, you're an artist of some type. You either carve cameos or you do the wooden inlay. But the wooden inlay is truly incredible. And I just, interestingly enough, I will tell you a funny story. I moved just recently. I was living on the waterfront, and I just moved inland a little bit where I am right now. And I put a bunch of my stuff in storage. And so I have some amazing pieces of this wooden inlay, but I didn't have any to share with you today. And I'm sitting at my friend's house. Well, it's my best friend on the island. And I had given her a tray from Januzzi years ago, and it's on her coffee table in her living room. And so I brought it to show you, because I'm like, can I use that today and show? I mean, look at this. This is incredible. I'm going to put it up close to the camera so you can see the detail work here. But you can also go online and look at this. This is just a tray that was made and actually signed by the artisan down here as well.
Oh, wow.
And
That's gorgeous.
just incredible. But what's
Beautiful.
really unique about this wooden inlay is the way they do it. It's I went for a demonstration when I was there, and it's been a few years since I saw the demonstration itself. But one of the owners was telling me how they would draw out a design first, and then they would color it in using all these different colors that they would like. And then they would layer they would stack layers of veneer. And then they took one tool, only one tool. And it was like a big, I don't know what you call it, like a big jigsaw.
Right.
And they would cut out these pieces of wood or veneer. And then they would take every little piece and fit it back in like a jigsaw puzzle it's very, very detailed. Anyway, then they would glue it onto a piece of mahogany and then put it under pressure for like, gosh, I think he said it was like 8 weeks or something that it was pressed together. And then once they did that, they would they put like 6 coats of polyurethane on it. And you could either have the high polish or the matte finish. And the ones I got were the matte finish. I just thought they were so classy and elegant. But the designs are completely hand carved and handmade and put together all by hand. And they have everything from trays and trivets to lazy Susans to wooden, they make these amazing music boxes and all kinds of different things. You could have elaborate tables, and the gallery there they have is incredible. While I was there, they even have a wall of fame, as they say, and all these famous people's photographs there. Barbara Streisand has pieces from there, and just a number of famous people. And it was incredible to see it. But just today, I was talking to my friend when I said, "Can I borrow this to show in?" And when we're talking today, and we were talking about it and how it was made, and she's like, "You know what? I never knew that was all hand sketched out and cut and made like that." She said, "I thought it was like a computerized digital image that they put on there." And I never knew that. I mean, she has like a whole newfound love for this now because she had no idea. She said, "I thought it was computerized, like put together, digitally done." And when you see the way this is made, it's so incredible. But Januzzi, like I said, they're the ones who started it. And now there are other people, again, who, I don't want to say copy it, but there are other people who do that same technique. They're just not as skilled as what you see as what you'll find at Januzzi. So if you want that inlay work, Januzzi's the place to go, hands down. Definitely. Anybody in Sorrento would tell you to go there. Wow. And did you ever see those gaming tables they have?
Oh, yes. They're amazing. Tell us about them.
Back in the 1950s, this guy's grandfather created this table. And when you first look at it, it's a table, a beautiful, good-sized table that has all of that beautiful inlay work like that. So it's a beautiful table that you would have in your house. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. However, there's all these hidden secrets to it. So you pull the top, you take the top layer off. Yeah. And then it has like a felt card table. So you can play cards on it. And then you take that layer out, and then there's like all kinds of different things in there.
Like roulette and backgammon.
Yeah, and then you pull it apart in the inside. There's 2 sections that pull out, and there's like a roulette table. You can play craps. There's a bingo area. There's a backgammon table to it. There's all these different pieces to this table. But he's like, you don't ever have to tell anybody it's a games table. You can just fold it back up and put it there with that beautiful cover on it. But they have all these different designs. I tell you, it was so incredible. I know they ship. That's the best thing. So people are like, how am I going to get that home? But when I was there, I wanted a few pieces that I could bring back myself. And so I bought a music box, and I bought a couple of these trays and trivets. And that's the other thing. After they cover it with that polyurethane, you can actually use these. They're not just decorative. You can use it. They're trivets. You can put a boiling hot pan right down on it, and it won't. And in the demonstration when I was there, they took a lighter to it, and lit it, and no damage, nothing. You can use
Oh
it.
my
They're
God.
like, use these. They're made
That's
to
a
be
good
used.
quality piece of,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
incredible.
Oh my.
But yeah, that's another thing. So after you get your cameos, then go check out Januzzi and get your wooden inlay. It's
Yeah.
incredible. But again, you know, that's something I think they do a lot of different ceramics, and they have linens and things like that, truly made in Italy.
Mm.
But the woodworkings of Sorrento, the
Mm.
inlay, you won't find anywhere else.
No.
That's something, you know, linens, okay, yeah, you'll see that in Burano. We'll talk about Murano and Burano later.
Yeah, we'll do that in another one.
And you'll find beautiful linens all over the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
But wooden inlay like this, hands down, you won't find anywhere like what you will see in Sorrento.
No,
It's truly incredible, beautiful.
Yeah.
And even if you're one of those people who like traditional, or you like contemporary, they have something for everybody.
I love it. And, you know, it's such a shame we can't go there at the moment, but we'll bring the next best thing. We're actually going to try and interview the family there and bring everybody a piece of, and maybe have someone do an inlay wood demonstration. Do you think everybody in this group would like that?
Well, I if you haven't seen it, you have to see it. And it's truly intriguing. When you watch it, it's like, what? You can't believe that that's how it's done. I mean, one of the things I remember is that they after they'd put it all together and they pressed it onto this background, they'd take it in front of a light and put a light behind it, and you can see all the details of it. It's almost like putting a piece of lace up over something, and you can see all the detail work. Incredible. And I'm like, what? Amazing.
Amazing.
I'm sure
I love it. Yeah. Well, will you come back and talk to us some more about your travels?
Absolutely. We could do a different port every week.
Yeah, well, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's keep going places and bring some of the beautiful things that you can find in all these different destinations. But I want to thank you so much for your time. Everybody watching this, the links will all be in the description, and we'll send you the website for Januzzi's. I don't know if I said that right. My Italian's terrible. Oh, well, it's terrible. It's non-existent, actually.
Close enough. I think they got it. Yeah. Bimonte for the cameos, Januzzi for the wood carvings, and yeah, if you want to talk restaurants and Limoncello, contact me.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Elizabeth. I really appreciate it, because I know you're a very busy woman. We took you away from your tanning.
Well, I'm trying to avoid hurricanes right now. So yeah, we'll be out. Maybe we should do a little walk along the beach in Cozumel one of these days soon.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Well, you stay safe. And
Thank you.
I'm not jealous at all. I'm in England. I'm jealous.
So great to talk to you, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Okay. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thank you for your time. Bye.
Bye.